Welcome to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast with your host, legendary powerlifter and strength athlete, Chad Ikes. For most, the journey of strength starts in the gym, but should inevitably expand through all aspects of life. Join us as we discuss all things strength. Now, here's your host, Chad Ikes.
Hey everybody, today we're very fortunate to have Jon and Teri Anderson on, which is, I've been bugging Jon about this for a while, I think. We were finally able to make it happen. And so if you don't know, I mean, basically Jon's a famous strongman. He was in professional wrestling, just crazy built, crazy strong. Teri's crazy built. And so
don't forget my pro bodybuilding career, brother. You can't short me on that.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Totally true. Could you guys give me like a cliff note? Give me like a cliff note version. Like, were you athletes in high school?
Oh, real quick, let me just lead this off. If you'd put us both in the same, we didn't know each other at 15 years old, but she would have kicked my ass. Straight up.
I'm a bit of a genetic morph. I started competing in bodybuilding when I was 15. So that's
she had the abs, she had the sweeps to the legs at 15.
Like you were actually going on stage at 15.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
that's impressive.
I was trying to keep my fold over tits inside my shirts. What I was trying to do.
In between the singlet wrestling.
Yeah. I was trying to control. See, I wasn't supposed to have those tits. She was, but I was a boy. We were very different creatures starting off.
Well, yeah, that's how you hooked up at the end. You guys were both the ends of the spectrum.
Oh yeah. Well, we are very much alike and very much opposite, all in the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great thing, and I'd actually kind of want to get into that a little bit later. So one of the reasons I really wanted to have you guys on is the content you guys put out. I think is so awesome. And also, I know you know Nick best. I've had him on a couple times. And like one of the things that's always impressed me about Nick is I met him long time ago in powerlifting. And it's like, even if you were to follow my powerlifting career, I had some mental issues and I would compete and I'm like, I got to get my mental health in check and I got to do this and do that. And like Nick and then you guys have just been consistent.
Just gone.
Like, you just... Yeah. Like 30, you are a couple right now
just going.
that is in better shape than most 20-year-olds. And you've been doing this whole time. And I think that's like, if you're looking for a coach, and we'll talk about that, these guys coach, I have more respect for the guy that's at 40 or 50 that did all of it, still looks good, still healthy, still active, than I do that 20 or 30-year-old that just came up and he's good. And it's like, okay, but how long are you going to last?
Yeah.
100%.
You know? So what would you say is like, how are you able to just keep doing that? How are you able to look the way you do right now?
Well, I think this is a word that most people don't understand. So when I say a standard, right? People say, oh, goals, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And your goals, you're going to achieve your goals based on your standard. Is your standard to get up rather than push the snooze button? Is your standard to say that you're going to go to the gym and go to the gym? Is your standard to, you have a standard of the way you live your life. And we've held ourselves to a standard. And that standard doesn't change. We get older, but our standard doesn't change. And so it's a clear reflection on we still live our lives with that standard. So many people will go through, goodness, they could go through whatever they're going through with strength athletics or bodybuilding or whatever. And then they're done. And the standard that got them there just fucking goes out the window.
Yeah. We call that the non-negotiables, the things that are, there's no negotiating in life. We're just going to get it done.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And I think that makes sense because you've probably had this with a lot of your clients. People like, oh, well, I can't do that. Well, I can't do that. Well, I can't do that. And then I go, well, then you don't want what you say you want.
Yeah. And can't is a toxic word.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a horrible word. Yeah. Horrible word.
But I think when it comes down to it, I think for people to understand, you can have all the fucking goals you want, But if you don't have a standard that you have set for yourself, you honor the word to yourself, you do the things you're going to say, this is what gets you where you want to go. And if you usually to do something great, you've got to set a standard for yourself.
Standard is the foundation.
Yeah. And then you just keep that standard. That's the key.
So I almost like, people talk a lot about motivation and they talk about discipline. And like what you're saying right now seems to me like an elevated level of that. It's not even about the discipline. It's about, this is my standard and this is where I'm going to do it. And this is how I'm going to live, period.
Well, there are certain things like you wouldn't go through the day without brushing your teeth. That's just standard, right?
Yeah.
Can't those other things in life, those, going to the gym, staying healthy, why can't that be a standard too?
Yeah.
That's interesting because I use
it kind of goes like this. There's people say, I need motivation. That's the bottom. Then there's discipline, which discipline is doing the shit even when you don't want to. And then there's your standard, which is all the way up because your standard is basically that discipline that has become you.
Yes. I use this saying of work. I'm like, you manage to go to work 40 hours a week, but you won't give yourself 4 or 5 hours a week to train. Or I work with a lot of retired people. And I'm like, dude, you spent the last 40 or 50 years, 40 hours a week at work. You can't give me like 5 to 10 hours a week to just to enjoy to be able to enjoy your retirement.
Well, it's the thing like this too. People are like, I got too much stuff to do. I got a to-do list. Well, why the fuck are you not on the to-do list?
Yeah. You need to come first.
Yeah.
It's like when you're getting on the airplane and they tell you put your air mask on before you put someone else's on. You've got to take care of yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I heard an interesting one recently where they said, as quick as you can, give me the 3 people you love the most. So I'm asking you guys, tell me the 3 people you love the most.
Let's kind of go our 3 daughters. We got 3. When you said 3, I might just went, boom, there's our kids.
So the whole point of that is, why didn't you list yourself in those 3?
Ooh, pow, good one on you.
And I think what it comes down to, though, that's a great one for the average layman. But for us, I mean, we serve ourselves first so we can take care of them. We've got kind of taking care of ourselves is kind of in the bag, so to speak.
Yeah. To where you don't even think about it. It's a standard for you where you don't even, if I'm not at my healthiest, like you just, before we came on, Teri, you said you hurt yourself in your dirt bike. Okay. How many people are out there riding dirt bikes?
At 50 fucking 3 years old.
Yeah. Like they didn't take care of themselves enough to do the things that they enjoy as they get older.
Brother,
don't want that. I don't want to feel locked in my body as I age. I'm going to stay as limber and just strong as I possibly can. I want to go. I got things to do.
And we ride on a track, dude. I mean, this is like a couple of these jumps. I'm fucking sending easy 40 feet to get to the next double.
That's awesome.
This is not petering around on your. She rides. We both ride race bikes.
Okay, that's great. Is there video of that somewhere? I got to see you on that bike.
Oh, it is so amazing.
You've got to make that bike look small.
He's pretty damn hot on a bike. I'm not gonna lie. I like it.
Well, I mean,
I kind of ride BMX bikes. I don't really race at the moment.
Too.
I love it. But there's if you ever watched Uncommon Valor, there was the one blonde guy and they get him to go over to Vietnam, but he's kind of built. And you see him riding a bike and he's at the track with the kids. And I'm like, dude, that's cool that guy's built and he's still riding a BMX bike.
Right. Well, he does look a little, I mean, you kind of cock your head and look twice when you see him go by the first time. You're like, that just doesn't look right.
I rode a
going
KX.
Back to what you said, I'm sorry to interrupt. Going back to what you said about the 3 people you love most, because the average person they're not handling themselves the way they should. And so that's kind of interesting. I've never even thought about that when we think about who we love and we are serving ourselves first is like, I mean, she meditates before she comes out of the bedroom. I'm up at 3 a.m. doing my thing. We have, I mean, literally at minimum, a few hours, two minimum of time that we serve ourselves first thing in the morning. And that's been non-negotiable for a long time.
Yeah.
So that stuff's kind of handled. So it's crazy when you say you're so correct. Why are you not on that list? Because we're doing it. It's like just part of the rhythm. It's not even like a question of, oh, I need to do. Of course, we can always improve, but there are never huge gaps or voids in our self-care ever.
Right. And really, I mean, I try to explain that to people all the time. It's like even when you go to work 40 hours a week, okay, well, why do you manage to go to work 40 hours a week? Oh, so I can have a better life. Well, isn't taking care of yourself going to give you that better life and a longer life?
Yeah.
You're going to pay for your health one way or another.
Yes.
Either by staying healthy or getting well. It's your choice.
Well, you figure a guy that's healthy, he's got plenty of goals. A guy that's sick, he's got one goal. And that's to be healthy.
Yeah.
So taking care of your shit up front is key, you know, and the idea of it, somehow we've been kind of duped by the way we're raised by society. We were not really shown or told or explained that the work we do on ourselves is the most important work. You know, people go to work and they're working for someone else and they're punching a clock and they think that's work. Now, that's the shit you do to pay your bills. The work that you do on yourself, you want more, you got to become more. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite claim to fames is in terms of forget athletics. I have never once in my life, I'm going to be 53 here in a couple of weeks, not one time fucking collected a paycheck. I've always done it my way.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I think that's absolutely incredible. So it's kind of like, I think you guys have actually had a couple posts on this, like in order for your relationship to be its best, you each have to be your best.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
100%.
I'll be the first one to admit, like if I wake up, we've got code words. So I'll walk out and I'll be like, oh, I'm crunchy today. That just lets him know that I have not put my best foot forward yet. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then at least you communicated and he's aware.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it too, brothers, because we're continually working on ourselves, we do better every time. Right. So, for example, we're coming home from our house and we have a house in Mexico that's 6 hours from Mississippi. So you go door to door in 6 hours driving. So we're coming home that day. She wakes up and we've had a couple of beefs in the car on the fucking way home. You know, you get stuck in there fighting, you're in trouble, you know. Anyway, but she says I'm crunchy. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is the day we're driving home. And so immediately I thought, you know what? This is my opportunity to basically use this signal she's given me to help this situation. So we got in the car. I started a conversation about something she was interested in, didn't talk about anything I knew frustrated her. And I just basically, because I had that heads up, I was able to kind of get her onto a better foot. And we had a fucking amazing day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we obviously, the old me, 20 years ago, she said that. I'm like, oh, fuck, she's in a bad mood. But get out of the way. It's like, that's pathetic. As we get better and better for each other, we realize, oh, you know what? I'm going to fill that void for him. I'm going to fill that void for her because we communicated we're having trouble. So we're there for each other.
100%. And just so he knows that I'm aware of being crunchy and I'm not directing anything at him. I'm just crunchy.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think that's super important. And even like you said, you guys aren't coming out going, hey, we have this absolutely perfect marriage. You're like, we do fight every now and then. Like stuff happens and we're still going to grow, but we're going to grow together and as an individual for the relationship.
100%. Yeah. And may I just, that word fight, we don't fight. We disagree. We have discussions. Mm-hmm. There's never any yelling. There's never any disrespect. There's nothing like that. He doesn't deserve that. Neither do I. We just wouldn't do that to each other.
Yeah, I mean, a fight, well, you got to define that word fight. Fight, people think raise voices. Some people think throwing shit.
Oh,
none of that stuff. No. None of that stuff.
You be out the door.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been one that if it gets heated and I feel like I can't control myself, I will ask if we can put it on hold for a minute and let me go for a walk for 15 minutes, get centered, get back into the present. Cause I don't want to say something that I know I can't take back just cause I was stupid and angry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, 100. That is me. I just give me a break. Let me just take a couple of seconds to breathe. Let me collect myself. I'll come back better.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it to him. I agree with you 100%.
Well, and the thing too, it's like, I know I'm guilty of this. A lot of times I'm thinking, and this is me 15 years ago, is where she might be in a certain way. She might be having a rough day or something. And I'm like, well, why the fuck's she in a bad mood? It's like all of a sudden I'm taking it personal.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Mhm.
now it's like,
Good
okay,
point.
she's having a bad day. I realize that she's gonna be a certain way and it's okay. She
Yeah.
told me.
And
For
had
Christ's
Yeah.
nothing to do with him at all.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
something went sideways and I was crunchy again.
And you don't always have to agree to get along.
No.
Yeah.
But he had touched on something real quick, which was him 15 years ago, 20 years ago. That was a totally different creature. The older he gets, the sweeter he is. Oh,
But isn't
Well,
that what life's about?
yes.
Well, there's no question. It's the self-work.
Yeah.
In the beginning, my self-work was more physical,
Well,
if you will.
yeah, and he was in the thick of strongman when we met. So he was just he you know how people have different masks. Your
Yeah.
husband, you're a dad, you're this, you're that. He was strongman. Period. That was it. There were no multiple masks. He had to wear that mask day in and day out to do what he did.
Mhm.
And I understood that. And I could put myself on pause or hold, understanding that there was more underneath him. I think more women need to understand that when they're dating high level athletes, is that you didn't choose some poetry reading. You chose an athlete, you chose an animal, this thing that's going after something. You got to give that animal space to breathe and go, proud.
And
Well, I
that
think
was that was so early where when early in my athletics, I really had to immerse myself to the. I mean, of course, I always immersed myself, but I wasn't good at being the athlete and the husband. I
Mhm.
wasn't good. It was like it was almost like it was kind of, there wasn't much of a difference between me flipping a tire and me in the kitchen, or me flipping a tire and me sitting on the couch. And it was like, that was just, that's part of my learning curve.
I just had to trust that he was under there somewhere, and he'd
Yeah.
come up there sooner or later.
So do
Trust.
you find I find that when I look back on my career and I was so like, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like when you're trying to hit the highest levels, like it kind of consumes everything.
Yeah.
And even when you're at home, you're thinking about it. Even when you're away from the gym, you're thinking about it. But I kind of found like as I wasn't competing and I'm working more on me, I would look back at some of the things I did, such as like if I was driving to work or something and somebody cut me off and I would start to get really pissed off. I would be like, no, wait a minute. If I get pissed off right now, that's affecting my recovery. I got worlds coming up. I need to recover. Like I can't let this happen. And so I was doing these things that made sense, but I didn't understand them. It wasn't until afterwards and I started researching communication and stuff that I realized, hey, people don't do things they don't make me feel. People do things and I choose how I feel about it.
Yes. 100%. 100%, brother. Yeah.
And then like as you start putting it all together, you're like, holy shit, this is actually way more than I like. This is some steep shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And I mean, that's really powerful in the fact that you caught that. Most people never get a hold of that, and that's something that I've been pretty good about. I guess it's from the standpoint, I've been pretty good about kind of reflecting negativity. Someone can walk up to me in the street and say, you're a cocksucker. And I would look at him and say, "Yeah, you're probably right," because that diffuses it. It's over. What else are
Yeah.
they going to say?
Right.
And I don't care what that guy thinks. I just want him to leave. Just go think that over there. That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
And so the fact that most people comes up, somebody calls them a cocksucker, they're all fucking bent out of shape at that point.
Yeah.
It's like that guy have the ability to change how you feel for that moment or even that day.
Yeah, to take your day
Yeah.
away.
You're giving
No,
them the power. Yeah.
no fucking way, man. So I've always had a pretty good grip on that one, but yeah, it's a journey, brother. I'll tell you, I think back to when we're talking about this era of my life, and of course, I thought at the time I had a fair amount of shit figured out, but god damn it, I was stupid.
Isn't that the way it always goes? Even today, I think I'm so smart and then get
Well,
kicked in
I'm to the point now where even if I do even kind of start to think I'm smart, I go, you said that before, and life,
Oh yeah,
life,
how many
life
times
kicked
you
you in the
said that
head
shit?
with, no, you ain't that smart. You got more to learn.
Well, and think about it. If all of a sudden the day came where you stopped realizing that you're getting smarter, you really have fucked it up.
Oh yeah, to me that would kind of be horrible because I have to have goals and I have to have things I want to do. And like even with
Oh,
strength training, strength is interesting because there's when I was coming up, certain things happened, and especially in strongman. Like I remember when, like, you're going to do a 400-pound Atlas stone, like holy shit, and now guys are doing 500-pound Atlas stones, and it's like this is a puzzle that I can never solve, but I really enjoy trying to put it together.
Yeah,
heck yeah.
So
yeah.
like this is great. I have something I love that I'm never gonna solve, so I get to keep doing it the rest of my life.
100%.
Well, and that's the beautiful. That's the journey, man. When you
Yeah,
start to realize that it's not about people get so goddamn distracted focusing on the finish line. And what they miss is they're not doing what they need to do today. If you maximize today, every day, you get to the finish line so much faster and you enjoy the ride. But when you're
hmm
always looking at that finish line, you're missing what's here and the now. And when you're not living in the here and now, you're missing the boat.
right.
Yeah.
I
There
agree,
is
100%.
now.
Happens even with my clients, they'll be so focused on, whatever they, want to fit in a pair of pants or want to weigh a certain amount or want to bet, whatever the goal is. And I'm like, hey, the goal is out there, but the more you look at that thing, the slower we're going to get there because where you need to
Yeah.
be looking is right under your nose.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to get there by
100%.
doing what you do day to day. I've had clients that they'll kind of start getting down on themselves. And they're like, well, I had this goal and I don't think I'm getting close to the goal. And I go, all right, let me open my notebook. And I got to show them that, like, listen, you are doing more than you were 6 months ago. You're doing more than you were a month ago. Like, if you keep focusing on the day to day and and your main focus is to get better every day, you're going to get there.
Yeah, that
Dude, that's so true. I mean, there's a whole section. Sorry, baby, I interrupt you.
okay.
There's a whole section in my coaching and my mentoring program where it's literally all about helping clients understand that the brain in our current society, the brain was helpful back when it was really fucking hard to survive for the day. The brain in today's time, it works against us so massively because it's designed to pick out all the shit and all the problems. Well, we don't have we don't have problems like that. They're going to eat us for lunch anymore. So when the brain is always, oh my God, I'm not making progress here. Oh my God, it's the oh my God's just start stacking up. And where your attention goes is you're going to get more of. And so to help people on, like I was just had a client today, he's in month 3 of this mental grooming process. And he's like, I look around now and I don't see a single problem. All I see is solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity.
And it's like, it's because we've trained, there's a thing in the brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And your brain is trained to go find more of that. Well, our fucking brain's also programmed to find problems. So you focus on a problem, you end up, your RAS goes, okay, problems are important. It just keeps searching for problems. So you have to like rewrite that program to where you're helping your RAS find gratitude, find happiness, find positivity. And then, because a problem has 2 sides. There's the challenge part, and then there's the payoff part. Well,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes down to it, when you look at a problem, you also realize that just on the other side of solving that problem, there's a better you.
Yes.
So every challenge, you get better. But you don't, it's the people that see problems, they run away from the problems. When, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, versus holy shit, look at this opportunity I have. And when life becomes an opportunity rather than a problem, now you're living, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do with my online clients, I do reviews, and then I do separate reviews for people of their lifts and technique. And I'll go into it and I'm just like, I'm really focused. So I'm like, this is wrong. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. We need to fix this. And then like near the end, I go, listen, so just so you don't get like, these aren't problems. These are opportunities. Like if I watched this video and went, I don't know, it looks good to me. How are you going to get better? Like, but if I find these things, now we know, hey, here's weaknesses, here's technical things. This means you can get better. Right. Like these are not problems, these are opportunities.
Brother, and that's so correct, because like it took me a long time to get to the point where I'm happy when someone basically shows me that I'm wrong, because I get to fucking learn.
It's my job.
Yeah. I get to learn. If I'm wrong, I get to learn something. As to where when most people they're wrong, it's a problem, it's bad. No, it's flip the script on this, man.
Yeah. It means you can get better.
Yeah, you're telling them, hey, look at all these things that we can get better with. And they're going, oh my God, look at all the shit I'm doing wrong. It's all comes down to the way that it's what set of goggles are you looking through?
100%.
And I think that's like all being at a high level and being fortunate to know a lot of high level athletes. I always come back to this one thought that the common ground is their mentality.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's so, so important.
Yeah.
Even if
there's something about, forget what we're talking about. If someone has reached a high level in anything, there's a commonality it doesn't matter. It could be business, it could be ballet, it could be strongman, it could be powerlifting, it doesn't matter, because that person that has the ability to show up when nobody else wanted to, we all bond over that, no matter what it is we're involved in. And we can feel those other people you can feel them walk into the room. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can feel when someone walks into the room, I can tell if he's made like a impeccable habit of showing up or not.
Yeah, well, it shows.
Yeah. So when I remember I was at you were here at a Strongman in Reno. And
what year was it?
Oh shoot, man, I don't even know.
So
2000s or something.
There was two. There was one in the teens, like 13, 14. Yeah. Actually, I think
it was after that.
There was one, because the last one would have been nationals. It was either national or a local. Which one was it?
I think it was the local one.
It was at a gym.
I think I talked to you at the when the top one too. Yeah, it was at one of the little, like a fancy kind of racquetball gym.
Yeah.
And I just remember.
Goodness. Okay, I remember that.
That was probably 2009. I was wrestling at that point.
Yeah. And I remember though that we're there at the event and all these people are screaming all this stuff, and I'm like, all right, you know what? My background's powerlifting. I've trained with some pro strongman and stuff, and I go, but John's here. So I went over and I go, hey, John, I'm a power lifter. You're a strongman. These people are yelling all these commands and stuff, and they don't make any sense to me. So you tell me as a professional, this is your deal. Are these the right cues? And you're like, no, actually, most of them are not. And but it was kind of funny because even then, like, I'm like, dude, if there's somebody way better than me, I want to ask them. I want to know, you know?
For sure.
But like in being a coach, I almost think like I love technique. I just love kinesiology and the way the body moves and stuff. But the more people I train and the more athletes I work with, the more it's like, I think it's all got to start with the mentality. And then I think nutrition and sleep. And I think so many people go straight to the gym. What exercises do I need to do? How much do I need to train? And I'm like, for me, that's really like kind of down on the list of the things you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, and especially in strength sports, there's this idea that you can just go and train and eat pizza and you're going to be fine. And that is so far from the truth in the regards that, like you said, the training is the easiest part of the equation. First off, you only do that a few hours a day. sleeping, having a set bedtime. I mean, I've been going to bed at 8 o'clock almost my whole goddamn life, and then nutrition. That's something that, if you don't have the proper sleep and the proper nutrition, I tell my clients, you don't get to go to the gym. You earn that right to go to the gym by handling your other shit. You want to stay up and watch smut TV till 11 when you're supposed to be at bed at 9? Guess what you just did? You just took time from the gym away.
Yeah.
I like that concept. You earn the time in the gym. And I know a lot of people that they talk about how hard they train, like they're bragging about it. And I'm like, man, I've been training my ass off in the gym since I was 12. Like, I love it. That's actually fun as hell to me. Like, when people go, oh, how do you train so hard? I go, because it's fun. I like it. That part's easy. It's not hard.
100%.
The guy that's bragging about how hard he trains, he just got over the fucking fact that he now can show up when he's supposed to. So now
that's probably true.
So he's just getting out of the gate. He's one of those poor bastards that used to not go to the gym when he was supposed to. Now that he's making it, he's bragging about how hard he trains. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll train anybody. I love training different people for different reasons because it's a more chance for me to learn and use what the knowledge that I gained in strength. Well, how can I help this 75-year-old who I want to help him like get more out of his retirement? But it's interesting, even with people of my older clients, I'm like, man, you're not eating enough. Like, if you want to come here and you want to train and you want this to work, it's not about just coming here and training. You got to get your recovery, and part of that recovery is getting enough nutrition in.
Yeah.
And I'm just amazed as I go through social media and all this stuff, and even with, I've written for like Muscle and Fitness, and it's like they all want to know about training. And I'm like, what about the mental side? What about the food? What about the sleep? What about all this other stuff?
It's because the training it's the easy parts. That's what people gravitate towards.
The sexy part.
So that's the part they want to talk about, because that's the one part of the equation they have down. And it's I say all the time that the nutrition is at least 75% of the equation.
Oh God, yeah.
I think so.
Impacts everything. Impacts your sleep quality. I mean, it's critical.
Yeah.
And so I wonder when I watch, I feel like I watch stuff and I take away a lot different than a lot of people. So like when I watch your content, I'm like, all right, here's Jon. I know Jon's strong as shit. I know he's still strong as shit, but he doesn't post that many lifting videos. Like, he posts a lot of other really important stuff. And I wonder if people like, are they putting together the like, listen, this guy is this huge monster in great shape, way better shape than most of the people that are half his age. Do they look at your content and go, okay, maybe he's not showing the gym because it's important, but not as important as this other stuff that he's showing?
I mean, brother, you hit it on the head. I train now to feel good. You know what I mean? Training is about a feeling for me. I mean, I can still, grab some weights and hurl them around when I want to, for sure. And I do that, but I do it less because as I get older, I need more recovery time. But I'm not serving people very well by, fucking showing me training. Like, when you do see a training video, I'm explaining something.
Yeah.
It's not just, okay, watch me lift this 150-pound dumbbell. You know what I mean? I mean, that would have been if social media.
No, it's fun to watch. Yeah. But I mean, I just wonder if people look at it and go, why is he explaining all this stuff with less attention on this? Well, and getting the idea sinking in.
Well, and those are the people ultimately that they're a little low on the chain of
showboating.
Well, I was going to say the people that are more concerned about me training, they're low enough on that scale of evolution. They're not the people I'm going to be able to help anyway.
That was another life lesson for me too, is there's a point where and I think there's this quote that goes around from Keanu Reeves where he's like, I'm at the point in my life where somebody says 2 + 2 is 5. I go, cool. Yeah, it's 5. See ya. And like, you got to kind of pick the people that are going to listen and not.
Yeah. Thank you for informing me. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. And yeah, just walk away from it because you're like, this is only going to give me headaches.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the age of information, and there's a lot of stuff out there. So you've definitely got to decipher and pick and choose what you're gonna let get in your ear.
Yeah, and who you're listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're all influenced by what we hear, or what we
Mhm.
choose to hear, because you can choose to turn a deaf ear pretty easily, but you have to intentionally do that. I think that's the thing, is that, if you look at us, like we talked about our standard, it's because when we do something, we do it intentionally. We don't just kind
Yeah.
of wander through. You see people, they wake up and they're just fucking wandering through their life. And
Mhm.
it's like nothing is really intentionally done. And for us, it's like, okay, like we talk about our videos at 5 o'clock. That's Terry time. That means from 3 a.m. until 5, I've fucking kicked ass. Multiple workouts some days. I've had meetings with my team. I've had some amazing, usually calls with clients. I mean, 5 o'clock, I'm shifting gears, baby. And it's now I am intentionally giving my attention to us, to her. And people, I think they don't have enough of these like pivots where they're saying, okay, I was doing this, I'm finished. Now I'm going to go over here.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave this till tomorrow. I'm going to do this now.
I mean, especially for your spouse, when we talk about just, athletic couples in general, you know what I mean? It doesn't take much time. Take 2 minutes, go and hug her in the kitchen, or just be intentional with connecting and keeping that. I mean, your family life is important.
Mhm.
If family life sucks, that's going to compromise your athletic training too.
Yeah, and prompting a giggle, like you probably see in videos, like where I like, if she's having a rough one, or if I fuck up, I'll go give her a dance. I'll just
Yeah.
dance. Sometimes I've like done it in the middle of a busy street, like she's stressed out, and I'll just fucking stop her while I'm being a median. Cars are going by, and I'll just sit there and we'll just dance for a second, because it's just like the spontaneity. Women love that. They did
Of
just.
course.
But to have a little fun with it too, like her shoulders hurt, right? So she comes out of the bedroom one morning, and we had her arm basically tied to her body, so she couldn't move her for a couple days.
Uh-huh.
And so her robe was empty. So I just grabbed her sleeve and put it up and started dancing, and she was laughing her ass off early in the morning, which that for her is not
Yeah,
common. But
not a morning person.
but I mean, find the joy for yourself in making your partner laugh when they need it.
Mhm.
That's and
Oh, he's good at
I
that.
I felt of course I love to see her laugh, but it gave me joy to
Yes.
see her
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah, for sure.
And I
That's
knew
like
that,
a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I knew that, hey, she's banged up. She's got one arm. I know, even just getting dressed is a bitch. She's coming out here, one arm tied to her side. She's gonna be trying to make coffee. I need to give her a little bit of a mental check, so to speak, in a good way. Give her some, so we had a little giggle, and it kind of I don't know, raised the vibration for the morning.
Well, 100.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could give you 1,000 different examples. Just that he has a good way of turning things around and making me laugh. Sometimes I want to punch him in the teeth as I'm laughing, but it's still there.
A laugh is a
Another thing,
laugh.
another thing that we do too, brother, on this side is that, and we've made a few videos about this too, is that we make sure that we have time for our intimacy. We don't
Mhm.
let you see these couples that they don't have. I mean, just be blunt. They don't have sex enough, and it's sex is something that if it's done within a good relationship, it's there's so many levels
It's
to it.
very nutritious.
Yeah, but I think when it comes
Well, there's a
down to
level of intimacy with it.
Well, it
yeah,
needs to happen, that
Yeah.
connection. I mean, especially for people that have like when our kids were young, I mean, those intimate moments were few and far between. You had to make the most of it. But if we hadn't made a conscious effort when the kids were young and still in the house to, carve out that time, be intentional about it so that we stay connected through that sticky phase in our relationship. So now we're empty nesters, and we joke saying we thought we were watching them. No, they were watching us because we're just
yeah.
awful.
Yeah, we thought we were supervising the kids. No,
No.
they were supervising us the whole time. We
Yeah.
just had no idea.
Shameful. Just shameful.
That's so funny. But I
No,
think
but
that's
we're
like
having a good
I
time.
really love quantum physics, and there's
Oh,
a theory
me
called
too.
I'm absolutely fascinated by quantum physics.
Oh, we can talk about quantum physics all day long, babe,
So
all
you
day.
know about entanglement, right?
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Well, that's I think of the world like just because they found it at the quantum level, it's got to affect like mechanical physics in some way.
Well,
So
what? Yes.
I kind of think of like our life and our relationships as entanglement. Like you can't separate it into boxes.
No.
You can go, oh, when I go to the gym, I turn it all off and I just get this great. No, you don't. I'll bet if you really honestly look back, every bad session you had, you can trace to something else going on in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
See,
you're
now that
stressed out at work, how are you recovering? Like it's all entangled. So if you're in a relationship, like you guys are doing, like consider it just as important as the training.
right,
Hmm.
100%. But I mean that the like the analogy that I like to use is like you ever wake up and you you leave your house and you're driving around and you just feel like everybody's just off, like
Mhm.
everything is just off. You stubbed your toe, you dropped a glass, all the lights are like that's quantum entanglement at its best. It's we're
Mhm.
all just off. We're all feeling kind of cattywampus. We're one. And another thing that a lot of people need to get through their stinking skull. We're
And that
one.
goes back to taking care of yourself. And that way the vibes and energy that you put off is better for the people around you. And it's this I always say I want to be the tide. I want to raise all ships.
That's right.
Well, brother, on that level, I mean, one of the things for us it's really, really important is that I get up early, right? And I work on myself. So when she gets up, I'm gonna be the best me,
Mhm.
right? And she does her stuff in the bedroom, even though she's still kind of awake when you're still kind of sleepy when she comes out, but she's already done her mental centering and meditation as well. So we basically it's of course you're taking care of yourself, but the positive side effect is you give a better version of you to the ones you love or to the world for that matter.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
people just don't recognize, it's your duty to focus on you, especially when you do it when nobody needs you.
Mhm.
100%.
There's zero guilt in this. And then you serve up the best version of you every day to the world, the ones you love, all the above.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do.
That,
I'm actually single right now, but I get up every morning and I go for a walk and I try to take at least 5 or 10 minutes where I'll sit in the park. And depending on what your definition of meditation is, I would say I meditate, but it's more just me being present in that very single 5, 10 minutes. And it can
absolutely.
completely change my whole day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
100%, brother.
that just
100%.
little bit changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That perspective change and perspective is a lot. It's all what you think you see is what you're gonna get.
Yes.
What you perceive is what you're gonna get. If you think that the world's a crappy place, guess what you're gonna get?
You're going to see a crappy place no matter what you
Yeah.
do.
Find the
Yeah.
good things. Express your gratitude. Gratitude is critical.
Mhm. And
100%.
that's and the gratitude is about seeing like what you have in a positive light.
Uh,
100%, brother. And it can be as simple as a fucking warm cup of coffee, or it could be a healthy child. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter.
well,
Because when you can get down to like, man, that cup of coffee is going to be amazing. Now that because you if you're not practicing gratitude, that's not going to have punch.
no, I
Right.
could be,
You know what
I
I
could,
Right.
mean?
I could be pissing and moaning about housework, and now I'm doing housework with one arm. I would have been very grateful to do my housework now with two arms.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you can find gratitude in anything.
And then how much that, on the back to the quantum level, how much that attitude helps your body to be efficient at burning fat, how it digests
Yeah.
food. If you're stressed out,
Oh,
your body's not functioning right. So you're not going to see the results from your training. And like it's
correct.
just it all entangles, like even with what you just said. Like if you're your best you, then you're the best for that person you love, and that person is going to do better to return more love to you. And it's just like this whole entangled ball of
Well, so
everything.
let's take that a little bit deeper and talk about your relationship with your body.
Hmm.
how do you treat your body? What are your feelings towards your body? Because that's all energy too, and that's vibration. I look at my body as like my little pet, right? If I'm not feeding my pet, if I'm not giving it clean, healthy water, if I'm not, letting it rest, if I'm telling, oh, bad dog, all that, what do you think I'm gonna get? If I'm always kicking my dog's not gonna be coming and loving on me. Treat your body like a nice pet.
He'll bite you at some point and say, fuck this.
Oh yeah.
That's actually interesting because part of my meditation is I talk to my body.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like it's its own entity. I'm like,
yes,
hey, buddy.
because there's you and there's your body.
We are
Mhm.
not.
Yeah. Our bodies are vehicles, and that's another thing too. I mean, with what we do is strength. One of the things like sometimes people don't quite understand. They think, oh my goodness, you've done all the stuff, you've kind of worn out your body a little bit here and there. First off, everything on me is a fucking badge of honor, number one. But number two, our bodies are fucking vessels. So when I die, if my body's not fucking completely used up, I didn't live the way I should have.
Yeah, we gotta live.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's not like we're supposed to die with this completely fucking perfect. What is that? It means you didn't live.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Not a VW bus.
Yeah, I mean it's just and I think when it comes down to, I think that a lot of this stuff comes from people who, they say, oh my goodness, you're beat up, you're this, that, and whatever. It's easy for them to sit back and say, oh, well, I don't want to do that. Well, you're too fucking lazy to do anything. Of course, it's easy for you to say you don't want that because you can't get that.
Yeah.
Lazy or scared. Fear is definitely a tricky one too.
Even at that though, I mean, you can do more than most people at your age.
Oh,
so even though you beat your bodies up, your body still functions better than theirs.
Right. Well, I mean, like my arm, I could sit here and, woe is me and look at my bike and be scared. No, I know my season's over, but I can't wait to get back on my bike. I got a little banged up. I learned my lesson and try again. Maybe I'll get banged up again, but that's part of living.
Yeah. Last year at the tail end, because we ride more in the cool months, right? And last year towards the tail end, it was like I was getting ready to take a trip to Fiji, and it was starting to get warm. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna have my shots out here. So I went down pretty good one day. I ended up, long and short of it, I had a pretty bad wreck I came up short. How's that? I didn't make it to the fucking second jump, right? And I was like, well, I know what I did wrong. Let's just fix it right now. If I didn't know what I did wrong, I was like, well, shit, okay, I'm done. And I was like, I know what I did wrong, so let's just fix it right now. Get it behind me. I did the same damn thing. I went down twice, and dude, I'm telling you, it probably took me a full week before I could walk straight again, but the thing about it is it's like if we don't do this, if we don't live this way, then you're just going to get older really fucking fast.
Yeah.
What's the point of sitting on the couch and doing that? Like, I didn't come all this way to just sit on a couch and watch a glowing box. I have zero interest in television. I want to go out and live.
Yeah. Going over the handlebars once in a while is good for you.
I actually did that on my BMX bike just recently.
Did you?
and laughed my ass off too.
Oh, I laugh a lot.
I saw an interview with this rock climber, and he said, I really think that people need to be scared every now and then.
Oh, so good.
He goes, if you never deal with like some real fear, then all the little things are going to feel like fear to you. And he goes, and his example was, I go to the airport and like these people, like I see people flip out because they might miss their flight, and he goes, in my head, I'm thinking, really? Yeah. That's what you're worried about? Like, that's what you're freaking out about?
Even worse, like someone misses a turn or something, slapping the dashboard. God damn.
Well, that's ironic because I was just talking to my dad about that, and we both commented. I'm like, dude, if I miss it, it's like they're freeways. Go to the next exit, turn around. I'm not going to cut through 9 lanes and try to hurt someone else. I missed it. Big deal.
Yeah.
Well, then there's the flip side of like in training, lifting heavy shit, competition, or even in training. that butterfly you get before you're gonna
Mhm.
walk out a fucking squat bar with 700 or 800 pounds, or I get that same feeling when I'm putting on my boots and getting geared up to go out to the track,
Mhm.
and choosing to step into that space is, I
Yes.
think, what truly keeps us young, because
Yeah.
most people don't like that feeling of, it gives them that little flutter. And for me, that little flutter tells me I'm alive, I'm living now,
Yes.
baby.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
We need that.
yeah, the idea of like, I remember when I was really teaching myself to overcome failure, right? And fear for that matter. What I did was I took a squat rack, right? I put the hooks on the outside of the cage, right? This is before fucking monoliths, Monoliths are a newer thing compared to this old fucking dinosaurs that have been lifted for 40 years. Anyway, I put the hooks on the outside. So I'm walking this thing out with no catch racks, but I'm walking out there with the idea that I'm not walking it in. How many
Mhm.
reps am I going to get before I fucking fail and dump this weight on the ground? And when you're entering into a situation where you're going to fail, but you're trying to get one more rep, it completely changes how you look at failing, because you realize that you have to fail to get to that next step.
Failure
Yeah.
is the goal.
And when
Yeah.
most people get scared, they think, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that," and that fear will turn them and run the other way. And if we're not leaning into that, we're not growing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because you will never push yourself as hard if you don't have that little bit. In powerlifting, people would go, man, you don't fear at all. And I go, that's not true. I go, if I
Just,
stop getting butterflies, I'll stop competing,
yeah,
because then there's no point to it to me.
you're just channeling the fear. See,
Yeah.
they don't see the fear because you're channeling it. When
Yeah.
they're getting scared, they're fucking flipping out, and anybody can see it.
So they're tucking their tail and running
Yeah,
rather than
Yeah.
putting
I mean,
that.
like, I knew every time I got under 1,000, 11, 1,200 pounds, like, this could mess me up. Like, this could do some serious damage.
yeah.
No, no, okay. Well, fuck that. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do.
Can't think about that when you're walking.
Yeah.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
be
But I mean,
anywhere
it's
near your
always
head.
there. It's always there. And beating that is that's what courage is. If you felt no fear, how is it courageous to do it?
Yeah. Courage.
And finding that mental space when you know what the outcome potentially could be, you've accepted it, but you're not going to look at that. You're going to look at trying to accomplish something new, knowing that that is a possible outcome, but
Hmm.
accepting
Yeah.
and pushing into that danger zone, pushing into that fear, pushing into that place where most people don't have the courage to do. I mean, because that's what is courage. Courage is basically doing the stuff that you're scared to do. And when you're really
Hmm.
courageous, you're doing
Doing it
shit that
anyway.
very few people can do because they can't manage that fear.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it great when you do it. That's what makes it more satisfying, for
Fuck
sure.
yeah.
Well, that
You
adds
can't
depth to your
you
character.
can't buy that feeling. That
Yeah.
feeling's
No, you can't. There's no way. There's nothing you can do except doing that
not
to
for
get that
sale,
feeling.
baby. Yeah.
All right. We're running close on our time. Where's the best place for people to contact you if they're interested in training or doing some
My
of your
Inst-
programs and stuff?
because my Instagram, because that's the one DM where I'm checking in every day.
Okay. And that's
That's
just, don't you have two? Isn't there a John Anderson and then a John Anderson
So
training
All
or something like
kinds of
So
them.
there's basically it's the Jon Anderson. Obviously, my name is spelled a little differently. First name Jon, last name Andy or Sen. So there's the main account is the Jon Anderson, and then there's the Jon Anderson Coaching.
that? Okay. Man, it was awesome having you guys on. This was kind of, we talked like just tapped into a bunch of different subjects. But
love
that's
it.
when I watch your content. And I mean, I've actually known you. We've talked like for years, but not regularly. But I love watching your content. And every time I'm like, man, I love like you guys are hitting on stuff that I think needs more attention than what a lot of people are talking about.
Right. Especially in this community.
Yeah.
In the strength world, they don't always dabble in that self-improvement, that facet of the genre. I do think it's important.
Yeah. All right, guys. I really appreciate you guys having on. It was a lot of fun talking to you. And until
Absolutely,
next
brother.
time.
We'll definitely. I know we had only had an hour today, so we'll definitely can do a part two without a problem, my brother.
Oh, easily. That would be a blast. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
You got it,
Chad.
brother. Have a great day, brother.
Thanks for listening to the Courage Barbell Unlimited podcast. For more information, please visit couragebarbell.com. Until next time.